everyone, today I'll take you on a tour of this 2018 Aston Martin DB11. I'll show you why it's one of the nicest supercars on the market today. This car is truly beautiful inside and out, and I'm really excited to show you all the features it has. It's an amazing vehicle and I can't wait for you guys to see everything that it offers. Thank you to Aston Martin of Bellevue for providing me with this Aston Martin DB11. They have every Aston Martin model that you can imagine, from older models like the DB9 to newer models like this DB11 and the Aston Martin DBX. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple of cars here. You can see we have a DBX there, a couple of DBXs, some Vantages over here, and of course the DB11 that I reviewed over here. They have every Aston Martin model available. So if you're in the market for an Aston Martin car and you're in the Seattle area or elsewhere, I think this dealership is a wonderful place to visit. Alright, so let's go ahead and start off with this infotainment system in the middle here, and you might notice this is quite similar to a different company, and that's because Aston Martin has a partnership with Mercedes-Benz to use their infotainment system. So this one, in fact, has the exact same infotainment system controller as a Mercedes-Benz. You can see you have the same pad, the same dial, and overall the same layout as well. So to use the system, it's pretty simple. You can use the dial to do specific functions. You have a couple of buttons around here as well. You can see the back button and the star to control specific items as well. You can also use the dial, twist the dial. Currently, I can see I'm on the radio, and you also have this pad here. So if you touch the pad, that gives you your various options. So you can use this pad to cycle through. You can use the wheel as well if that's what you prefer. And you can see I have the different options available here. You can see I can hit the wheel up and down to cycle between which one I want to use. So this DB11 has a few options. You can see we have the navigation, the radio, the medium. So let's go ahead and start off with this map. So in this map here, you can see a very nice simple map view. You can move it up and down like this. Oops, with the wheel. As you can see, there's your map. You can go ahead full screen it, and you can zoom in and zoom out with the map as well. And it's pretty simple navigation system. It'll easily take you to your destination when you're just cruising around in the DB11. Next up is the radio feature here. As you can see, we have our different presets here. You can cycle between different presets and pick the one that you want to listen to. Again, a pretty simple feature. Next feature that I wanted to highlight is this media feature. So this feature, again, is going to allow you to listen to music, but in a different form. This will allow you to use the Bluetooth audio instead of having to use the radio. So if you want to just connect your phone and listen to music that way, the DB11 allows you to do that by this feature. So now you can see if I hit that, it's searching for a device. If I go ahead and go to the phone, this will once again allow me to pair up a mobile phone with the DB11. I can use my smartphone for like contacts and calling if that's what I prefer. And then lastly, the last one on this infotainment system is the vehicle. So here we have a couple of different vehicle settings here. You have the vehicle settings. You have a 360-degree camera system. We'll get back to that in this next clip. You can go ahead and look at the time. You can see a nice, beautiful looking analog clock. It's about 4:32 in the Pacific Northwest. And yeah, those are the different functions here. So I'll go ahead and talk about this 360-degree camera in this next clip. Alright, so let's go and talk about that 360-degree camera. And to go to that, all you have to do is, you can see I'm on the vehicle, and if I hit the vehicle, then I can, oops, there we go. I can go ahead, cycle to the 360-degree camera system. And then I hit the OK, and then here you can see the 360-degree camera system. You can see everything that's going on. So we have the 360 kind of like front view over here. As you can see in front of that, we have a couple of DBXs. Here, as you can see, a couple of DBXs. So a very nice look over there. Over here, we have the 360-degree camera system. It's a top-down view. As you can see, it allows you to monitor the car as you're driving around. A nice look as well. You can also hit this center icon here, and that'll take you to a 180-degree view. So that'll give you the center camera that I was talking about, but also a left and right camera system, so you can really monitor exactly where you're going down the road. So a very nice look. I really like this 360 camera system. So nice to see that in this DB11. Alright, so next up, let's go ahead, go right below this nice center screen and go ahead, head over to the middle stack here. So over here, we have our climate controls, and as you can see, I mentioned that I was in the Pacific Northwest. I am indeed in the Pacific Northwest in Seattle, and here it is really hot out here today. It's 88 degrees, which is not normal for Seattle, so it's kind of hot. I might go ahead and turn on the air conditioning for these following clips, but it's really hot out here. So if you hear like this buzzing noise in the background, that's probably why. It's probably the air conditioning. So here again, we have our air vents here. Again, you can cycle that, move it around. It's very, very customizable. You can really put it to where you want that air conditioning to be. Next up below that, you have the PR&D shifter. So you have the PR&D shifter here, and you have your engine start stop button in the middle. So that is a beautiful looking button, by the way. Aston Martin logo just looks amazing alongside that shifter. Right below that, we have, let me go turn on those heated seats. We have our regular climate control, so you can see you can adjust this temperature here, and that'll go ahead show up on the screen. You can see the temperature cycling. You can change the mode. You can change the fan speed. I'm gonna go ahead and pop this up. There we go. There we go. 5, and it's quite hot out here. You can see you can adjust the passenger side zone as well as the passenger temperature. It does have dual zone temperature in this car, so very nice to have that. Below that, you have a couple of other features here. You can see you can enable recirculating air. You can enable your air conditioning. So you can tap that, and that'll go ahead turn on and off your air conditioning. Hope you can see that. There we go. You can see air conditioning on and off. You have the menu icon here. That'll take you to your climate control settings on the main screen. And here, we can again use the different things. We have temperature, air distribution settings, airflow settings, the climate mode, a lot of different customizable options in this screen. If you hit that menu button, the auto button, again, pretty fairly obviously, sets it to automatic climate control, and you do have heated seats in the front of the car, so that's a nice feature to have. Below that, you have your front and rear defrosters, and like I mentioned, the recirculating air. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about what's below those climate controls, and that means we can see a couple of other functions. Down here, we have this power button for the radio. We also have a CD changer, which is pretty cool. You have an eject button to eject the CD, very nice feature to have. Again, you have this volume changer here, the power button, and you have some shortcuts to commonly used functions on the infotainment system, like the nav screen, for example. So if I tap the nav button, that'll go ahead take me to the nav screen on the infotainment system. Over here, it has a couple of other settings here for the passenger airbag, parking sensors, the automatic start-stop feature, and then you have the button to right here. That'll take you to your 360-degree camera system. So nice shortcuts to have down there. Right below that, you have lock and unlock buttons to lock and unlock the vehicle, and the hazard light switch as well. Below that, a little bit of storage, probably to put some coins, the infotainment system controls borrowed from Mercedes-Benz, and then right behind that we have a couple of other features. We have 2 cup holders and this center armrest right here, and underneath the center armrest you can see there is a good amount of storage as well. So overall, a very nice looking center stack in the DB11. So one of the coolest features that the DB11 has is this super cool like electronic center console, and as you can see here, it just looks like a regular center console, but in fact it's not, because there's this button here, and if you hit the button, oh my goodness, that thing actually moves electronically. Most cars you just have a manual latch that will allow you to move it. Not in this one. You have this button that will allow you to electronically move the center console. If I go ahead and put it in the other direction, you can see it takes me to that half open position with the cup holders one more time, and that'll fully open it up with the storage in the middle here. So again, I mean, that's really cool having this feature. I really like that electronic center console. That's quite nice. Alright, so next up, let's go ahead and talk about this situation going on here, the steering wheel and the gauge cluster behind it, because there's a lot going on here, I can tell you that. So here we have this beautiful looking steering wheel, by the way. It's really amazing. Aston Martin badge in the middle. It looks beautiful. The steering wheel is truly amazing. But let's go and talk about the gauge cluster in here. And the first thing I want to talk about is the side screen. So you can see here, if fact, let me go ahead and zoom in. We have a couple of features here. On the left, we have some information about our fuel and oil, and as well as the time. On the right, a customizable gauge cluster screen with the temperature below. Oh wow, 99 degrees in here. But let's go ahead and look at what we have in the screen. And first off, to look at a different configuration, you can see if I use this option here on the steering wheel, I can go ahead and cycle between different items in this particular mode. And we have this very nice simple screen. If I hit the back button here, that'll take me to all my options. I can look at my trip, my navigation, media, radio, telephone, service, and settings, and I can go ahead and cycle between those. So if I go to my navigation, for example, that'll go ahead allow me to look at my direction of travel. I can go ahead head over to my media. That'll go ahead and make sure to ask me to actually connect my phone, which I haven't done that, but if I do, it will give me some information about that. I can go ahead and look at my radio station. Currently I'm on 7:10 a.m. as you can see. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off. Then we have the telephone, the service, and the settings over here as well. So quite a few options, very customizable gauge cluster as well. The other thing I want to mention would be the drive mode, and I'll get that to this next clip. Alright, so the next feature I want to mention up here again is the different drive modes. So this DB11 is generally used as a Grand Tour. It's the more luxurious version of Aston Martin's vehicles. If you want the same size but a performance car, you generally go for the DBS Superleggera. A smaller size performance vehicle, you have the Vantage, and then for a family vehicle you have the DBX. But in this car, it's kind of like a luxurious Grand Tourer style, so the default mode is your Grand Tourer mode. However, you can change that independently of the suspension and the vehicle itself, which is pretty cool. So if you hit this button, that'll allow you to adjust the setting for the car. So if I hit that, that go ahead changes to sport mode. It also changes up the exhaust slightly a little bit, which is interesting to note. Hitting it one more time reddens up the gauge cluster a little bit more, and now I'm in Sport Plus mode for even more performance. And then I can go ahead, head back to Grand Tourer mode. Same thing with the suspension with this button on the left. So if I hit this button, you can see that changes up my suspension independently from the actual car, which I think is really cool. Again, you have the same Sport Plus. There we go, there's Sport Plus, Grand Tourer, and Sport mode. So very nice that you can change the drive mode and the suspension independently of each other. I think that's a really, really cool feature, especially on a performance Grand Tourer kind of vehicle like the DB11 is. So here are the seat controls in the DB11. As you can see, very nice looking seat controls here. We have our lumbar support, we have our front and back support, as well as height adjustment, and we also have our reclining feature here. We also have 3-person memory, which is pretty cool if you have multiple drivers driving this particular DB11. Another thing I want to highlight is the interior features. I'll actually get back to more in depth on this, but overall, I mean, just looking around, it is gorgeous in here. All the materials, it's so luxurious in this Aston Martin. I can't, wow, it's truly spectacular. So here's another interesting thing of the car. It does have back seats. It's really small, but it does have them. So if you want to get back here, go ahead, pull up the loop, put the seat like that. It'll go ahead adjust so that the seat goes all the way forward, and then you can go ahead get inside the back seat. I'm probably not gonna fit very comfortably in here. Oh, it's really tight. But there you go. There's your back seat in the DB11. You do get a nice window here. There's not much space. I'm gonna go ahead and put this back, and oh no, there you go. There's really not that much space. As you can see, I have like barely any legroom. And in terms of headroom, yeah, the headroom test isn't very convincing either. Again, this is a kind of a very last resort back seat. The car isn't really intended to be used for the back seat either. So it's just there if you need to carry someone back here in a pinch. It does have some kind of nice features though. I really like the leather red stitching, as you can see. Nice seat belt. You do have a speaker back here, and speaker on the walls as well. And overall, I think the back seat is pretty good for a car in this segment. Obviously, it's nothing compared to like the DBX, which is really the family vehicle you want from Aston Martin. But for the Grand Tour, it does have a not too bad back seat. It does have, you can like a child can definitely sit back here for sure. Alright, so let's go and talk about the cargo area back here. I apologize for the shadow. Again, like I mentioned, it's really hot. So to open up the trunk, you have a couple of options. You can use this key fob, or you can go ahead, head over to the interior, and then in here there's a button. So you just hit that, and that'll go ahead pop open the trunk. So then you can go ahead just open it up from there. And in here, for this size of a vehicle, you actually have a good amount of room. You can fit in a lot of stuff back here. Definitely a couple of pieces of baggage in here too. There's good space in here. Over here you have a little bit of extra storage on the side. Over there too, a little bit of extra storage again. So there's really good room in here, especially for a car of this size and this caliber. Most cars in this segment either have like a front end kind of trunk that's pretty small, or a rear one that's again really small. This one's not bad at all. It's actually pretty spacious. And again, if you need extra storage, like I mentioned, you have that back seat that is probably very rarely going to be used. So there's actually a good amount of storage in the car here. So nice configuration. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead shift over to the exterior, because that's really the benefit of an Aston Martin. You have a beautiful exterior, and first thing I want to start off with is this front end. So you have a beautiful headlight design. Hopefully you guys can see it. It's just super sunny. Let me get over here. There you go. I think that's a little better. But as you can see here, this very nice design. You can see you have a dual headlight design. You have one over there and one on the side over here, and this nice turn signal as well. It kind of goes around and to the front, kind of like arches the overall structure. This looks super beautiful. The daytime running lamps are also down here. You can see it kind of integrated into the assembly. It looks super good. Overall, this front end just looks amazing. You have an Aston Martin badge, as you can see over there on the hood. Looks beautiful as well. Just looks so good overall. Let's go ahead and head over to the side here. I'm gonna go ahead and close this window actually, so that you can get a better look of the side profile. And there we go. This car looks gorgeous. Oh my goodness, this car just looks truly beautiful on the outside. Before I continue talking about that, let's go ahead and talk about these wheels. They look amazing here. Again, super nice wheels. As you can see, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me count that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and like this 9-spoked wheel design. It just looks beautiful. I really like these wheels. Looks super nice. Again, Aston Martin logo in the middle, and also these super large brakes, red brakes, Aston Martin written on them. Again, a very nice look. Heading over to the back, again, similar look here on the same wheels, same red brakes as well back here. And then now let's go ahead and finally get back to this side profile, and oh my gosh, it's beautiful out here. The lines of Aston Martin have always pretty generally stayed pretty consistent, but they're always beautiful. I mean, look around. You have some other Aston Martins here, some more over there, but this one, especially being the Grand Tour, has some amazing looks. You can see over here, simple arc going all the way. You have this side profile here, back window coming around the back. Over here you can see a very beautiful look, just kind of clean, simple, and it just looks nice. I mean, wow. Let's go ahead and head over to the back side to finish this exterior styling tour off. And on the back, again, a beautiful looking look here. You can see Aston Martin logo in the middle. You have these taillights on the side. And over here, pardon the noise, but over here, let me go ahead and repeat that. We have this beautiful looking taillight design. We have these turn signals, similar arcs kind of to the front. Also very similar to other Aston Martin models. I'll show you around a couple of others for their design in a little bit. But as you can see over here, a beautiful look. Arc here, a little bit of a part on the trunk lid as well. It looks truly beautiful. Also down here you have a dual exhaust. You can see one over there. Hopefully you can hear it, really hear it, you know. But we have this beautiful sounding exhaust. Currently it's on DT mode, by the way. So it sounds even better in sport mode. You can see there's the other one. And it just looks nice. Let me go ahead and change this to sport mode so you guys can see how it sounds. Oh, well, I should say here how it sounds. in sport mode. I'm actually gonna put it in sport plus. So in sport plus mode, there you go. It's way more growly, way more, has quite a bit more oomph to it. It just sounds good. Really, really powerful exhaust. And once again, I'll get to the powertrain at the end of the video like I always do. So stay tuned for that. But again, changing the exhaust type actually has an impact on how the exhaust sounds like. So that's something to keep in mind. You have that as well. So you might be wondering why I have kind of like this exploded view of the car, and that's because I just want to mention the doors for the Aston Martin DB11. They don't open straight. In a normal vehicle, the doors kind of open straight. You would expect the bottom of the door here to be like down here. That's not the case. It kind of opens upward. And the reason for that is, well, one, they've engineered it so it opens kind of like this upward like motion. But number two, the Aston Martin logo obviously has like wings. That's the point of the Aston Martin logo. But when you open the doors like that, you can see the car kind of has the wing shape. You can see it looks like it's flying with the wings coming on either direction. That's such a cool look. I think that's a hallmark of Aston Martin's many years, and this one's no exception. Another beautiful kind of wing door look. That's the case on all the Aston Martins. The DB, the Vantage, the DBX has them on the back doors as well. It's just a beautiful look with those like doors going in the angle. I think that's a really cool piece of engineering. And then, of course, no Aston Martin tour would be complete without showing you guys the interior, because, I mean, the interior detail I already did show you, but, like, the materials and the quality in here, because, oh my goodness, this obviously is so beautiful in here. You have leather stitching everywhere, even the navigation panel is all wrapped in leather. You have leather-lined side panels over here, leather line side panels, a leather center stack, even the infotainment system lined in some beautiful leather. Oh, of course, the seats, can't really forget those. Let me go ahead and adjust the seat so you guys can get a clear view of what it looks like. I think that'll give you a nice look. And as you can see here, again, beautiful materials. This nice leather line center, red stitching on the side, and the headrest has this embossed DB11 logo on it. Just looks truly amazing. Floor mats again look very high quality, kind of Alcantara-ish material. Yeah, it's just comfortable. The steering wheel, beautiful looking steering wheel. Again, you can see rotating it, very smooth action. Aston Martin logo in the middle. It just looks beautiful here. And the trim in here as well. That's the last thing I want to mention in here primarily. We have this trim. It's kind of like this wood panel trim, and it looks gorgeous. You have it all over the car. You can see over here, you have some down there, you have it in the center over here. A beautiful look. I think it's just so beautiful in here. Obviously, that's the kind of material you're gonna get for such a price tag, and this car does not disappoint. So I also want to talk about the vehicle key in here. Hopefully this is focused. I don't know why it's not focusing here, but there we go. And here we could see the Aston Martin vehicle key. It's a beautiful looking key. Aston Martin badge here in the middle, lock button, yeah, the unlock on the trunk button here, and it's a very simple key that gets the job done, but I think it just looks gorgeous. Very weighted, very nice looking key. I think it just looks super cool. Alright, and then finally the last step is the powertrain. So here this car has the Aston Martin V12 engine for the DB11, and that means 600 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque. This car is packed with power. Makes sense for an Aston Martin. Has a lot of power going for it, and good performance too. 0 to 60 in the 3s, and it's just amazing in here. Look at this engine. I mean, that's gorgeous. You have the V12 5.2 twin turbo badge. You have Aston Martin DB11 badge, and you have the final inspection over there as well. So wow, it's a beautiful engine under here. Really a lot of stuff. Also, it's a front opening engine, as you can see. You have cutouts here with the headlights. You can also see the tire quite cleanly like that as well. Just a beautiful engine. Amazing, a lot of power. Truly beautiful. And so there you have it. There's the 2020, 2023, really 2018, the same car basically. Aston Martin DB11. This car is amazing. It's truly really beautiful on the outside. It has some very nice interior materials, looks good on the inside, and is just gorgeous. And I mean, best of all, it's an Aston Martin. This car is truly amazing. And if you're in the market for a very expensive supercar, then this car is a wonderful choice.